Hi Shanaya, congratulations on getting into CMU and also being a recruited student athlete on the track and field team. I'm sure it must be an amazing feeling.
Thank you. Yeah, it is.
Awesome, awesome. So, how was your overall experience, working with NexTrack?
So overall, obviously, I would say my experience was great. There were very obviously many highs and lows during the entire college experience. But every time there was a low, such as a bad grade, or a delay in an essay, or a rejection from a college, or something like that, everybody in the team always took charge and everybody made sure everything was back on track. And obviously, the highs, every time there was a good, like a positive pre-read or something something good that a coach had to say, everybody would celebrate it because then that would just keep me going. And they also made, I would say that the team really made writing essays much less unbearable than I thought it would be. So that was really great as well. And they basically just, like, they were continuously very motivating the entire time. And at the same time, whenever they were helping me out, they always helped me out with my best interests, and always very logically. They never gave it, like, it was always to the point, and it was always like, it was never sugar coated, I would say. So yeah.
That's great to know. I think we take pride in that. We always tell families, look, we'll be very honest and transparent. Whatever is, it is, and we can't really change that. So yeah, good. And you're right. I think, especially with the student athlete process, it's full of highs and lows because you end up hearing from coaches, and sometimes it's great news, sometimes it's bad news, and you just have to learn how to deal with it. Good. And were there any specific areas or moments that you remember or recall where you feel like NextTrack really added a lot of value to your life, maybe outside of the process and the steps also? Any moments, any incidents like that?
So one thing that I clearly remember was I was going to give my SAT, and I was really scared because I just finished my exams and I hadn't prepared as much as I wanted to. So it was I would say, more of a mental game at that moment for me than it was for actually practicing for this art and everything. So I was really scared. It was and then I remember I was on my way to the airport, and you had called me up and you had told me that, look, like, you just give it your best shot. Whatever happens after that, like, we can deal with the consequences. You just need to be able to know even your best shot. And I remember that really helped me because it kind of eased off the worry of what would happen if I didn't do well in my SAT. And it just made me, like, focus on my strengths in the SAT. And I think that, and after giving that SAT, I actually ended up, it was my best score, and that was the one that we ended up sending into colleges. So I think that was really helpful for me. And also, like, there were times that I remember there was this one moment while we were writing the essays and everything where I was just very demotivated in general, because it was just the whole fear of not getting in anywhere, or not being able to go to a place that would suit me, and not being able to finish my essays on time. That general fear was in my head. But you guys really helped me out then, and you all really motivated me then as well. And because of that, I was able to write my essays on time and feel very proud of, like, everything that I achieved. So I think that's something that really helped me.
Yeah, I think I fully agree. I remember that SAT call now that you mention it, because I remember how scared you were, and it was a tough journey for, obviously, for people who don't know. You got a good score, and then you took it again and again, and I think for a year with the SAT cancellations and then retaking it and not getting the ideal score, it was, I think, from your first higher score, it took another full year, and it suddenly almost like reached a 1500. So that was a journey, and I think that was also like a nice lesson for you, that what perseverance can just get you in life more than anything. Cool. uh, how did you finally arrive at the decision of committing to Carnegie Mellon, going ED there, because you also had so many great names who were, recruiting you: Johns Hopkins, NYU, Tufts, Wellesley, Claremont, and I don't know, the list just kind of went on. So how did you finally decide on Carnegie Mellon?
So CMU was always one of my top choices, I would say. And that's why like I decided from like the get-go that it was always in my top three and four. And for me, I was continuously communicating with all these coaches, and that's how I was able to like kind of bring down my list to like my ED1, ED2, and then my RD lists from like a huge list in the beginning. And for me, I finally chose CMU because I would say I had the best relationship with the coach there. We had gotten on a Zoom call, and literally the first time I spoke to him, I was able to communicate with him really clearly, and we had like some great laughs, and he was really helpful and really supportive as well. And I also like got a likely letter from Carnegie Mellon after that pre-read, which I think was very beneficial because it kind of gave me that comfort as in comparison to other colleges that my chances were higher of getting in. And another thing is that I wanted to major in biology, and CMU has a very good bio program as well, and it's something I can interchange in between in that major as well if I wanted to, and they give me that flexibility to do that. And overall, it was just a combination of being able to run as well as study biology at CMU, and that I'd be able to strike the perfect balance between both, which I hope to do as well. And because they would be able to let me do that, I've chosen CMU and I've committed to it.
Awesome. I'm sure you're going to have a great time when you reach there in the fall this year. Great.
Yeah.
Cool, Shanaya. So last question that I had is that if you had any advice for, another student athlete or a student out there, what would you tell them?
I would say try not to take the entire college process as burdening as it's rumored to be. I went through it and it was hard, but I genuinely am happy that I went through it, and I'm happy that it took me it's got me CMU, and I'm very happy and I'm very proud of it as well. So I would say try not to stress and try not to take the rejections or like negative pre-reads to heart, because at the end of the day there will be a college that is a great fit for you that will choose you, whether like by the end of it. So basically just try to enjoy things like writing the essays or giving the SAT. Try to be okay with try to expect barriers that come in your way, unexpected barriers. For example, I had all these SAT cancellations and I had the pandemic, and obviously I couldn't train for a very long time because of the pandemic, so I had to switch my expectations as well. So I think you have to be okay with these things coming in your way, and you have to adjust very quickly. Otherwise, it will be like you just have to continue to be optimistic, I would say, and use the advice of your counselors really well, because they give great advice at the end of the day and in your best interest. So
yeah, I think that's great advice, because it's sometimes I think about this, that the amount of stress that students have to deal with today is not something I had to deal with when I was applying to colleges. And I think every year that competition at colleges just increases, and the stress that comes with it for students and that pressure of getting into good schools also increases. But you're right, you have to just learn how to adapt and be okay with what's going on, and just deal with the situation, see what you can do, make the best out of that, and you will find a good fit college for yourself. Great, Shanaya. So thanks for doing this, and congratulations once again, and all the best.
Thank you so much.